All right, Stripes and Coffee back at it. We don't care if we're losing. We're going to keep doing this thing.
Absolutely.
So, I guess our fourth episode, fourth season of doing this, if you want to call it a season or whatever. And we just lost to the freaking Washington Commanders on Monday Night Football this past week.
That was a bummer.
Uh,
Super bummer.
yeah, man. I mean, really, this early in the season with some winnable games, Patriots and them were considered that. Needed to scoop up those wins, probably both of them, but at least one of them, right? I don't know. We've kind of talked about this a little bit before we fired this up, but what do y'all think about that game?
It was a bummer, but I have, you know, higher hopes, I would say, for the team. I think we can do better. It feels tricky early in this year. It feels like we don't play up to our full potential right away. It feels like I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It feels like in the first month, it's almost like it's tricky. We don't play like we should. So
Yeah.
I feel like we'll do better, but it was a bummer to see.
No, you're very right. It's like our September football is like some of our worst, and especially weeks 1 and 2. It always seems like, weeks 1 and 2, like especially on the Joe Burrow side, and then heating up towards the end of September, but not up to that full potential. It's like we're November, December type of team, at least so far, is what it seems like.
Which is better. I would say it's better to be hotter at the end of the year, but the
Yeah,
problem is
without a
if
doubt, that's when you need to be playing your best ball.
yeah,
We
if
just
you
got
dig too big of a hole, then that's where our problem is that if the hole's too big, we can't overcome it. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick later. It's just not at the cost of a big hole.
I agree.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we got optimism still. Like watching the post game interviews, like after we take these L's, I just feel like we still as a team are sticking together. Like hearing Jermaine Pratt,
Mhm.
Eric All, like I just feel like even though we losing, like I feel like we still are together. Like we haven't lost the locker room. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
credit that to the coaches.
I could have swore I even read a couple things saying otherwise, but I'm like, you're just creating things because I'm not seeing that vibe.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see
They're not
nothing
by the
over there.
That vibe
players.
like they're defeated and they're not connected and they're just a bad locker room. It's just that's easy stuff to pick on if somebody's losing. But
Yeah,
I think they're a little confused because they feel like they've put a lot of work in and put a lot of effort in and they know what they're capable of,
exactly,
but just don't have the product on the field.
exactly. I agree with that.
There was some good things. Like we talked about this a little bit before, but I thought the offense more or less got back on track.
Yeah,
Like Joe Burrow threw for like 320 and 3 touchdowns. They didn't punt once. Like
that's impressive, man.
yeah, the offensive line was looking pretty good. The run game was looking pretty good, and we were marching down the field. And the nitpicky thing would be we had a few red zone trips. We probably should have turned one or two of those into touchdowns, but we still put up 33 damn points, and that was with the missed field goal. So, I mean, if you're putting up 33 points, in my opinion, if you're going north of 30, your offense probably did enough to win the game. That's when but our defense really in this game shit its pants. And I'm just worried that, like, what I was worried about and what we were all worried about was that defensive line coming into this season. And then two of our most important pieces on the defensive line we were already worried about were not there with Rankins, with BJ Hill. I think that's what come to pass, you know. Of course, the running thing was still a problem for us, and we knew that would kind of be, but anytime we had him in like kind of like a third and kind of long, we just couldn't get any pass rush or anything to like he had all the time to find somebody, you know what I mean? So if we could have like generated and at least made him uncomfortable and had to get rid of the ball, and we could have, our back end could have covered, but like even they kind of messed up a few times, like in coverage, at least it seemed like they, like, but maybe that was just asking them to cover too long, because the defensive line just could not make anything happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Hubbard's not been too good this year on the pass rush side of things. Hendrickson just needs some damn help, but big time missing DJ Reader and then missing, of course, BJ Hill and Rankins. That would help solve that problem. But There could be reinforcements coming. I know. Oh dang, who was our rookie defensive end we just picked up last year? Miles.
Oh yeah, Murphy.
Yep, Miles Murphy. I don't. He was on IR, so he should like 4 weeks. So should he be able to come back next week?
Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, after the 4 weeks. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
Rankins is out and BJ Hill is doubtful. So for this game, may not have him. They should be coming back. Hopefully, we'll get him back for the Ravens game.
Yeah, they weren't put on IR, which would imply to me they think they could be back in less
Sounded
than,
like they were kind of close. Like, is it this week? Is it this week? But just not quite there.
yeah,
So
it's nothing major, I
Mhm.
guess.
But yeah, that could have been the biggest reason why we shit the bed, on defense. But that was unacceptable, really, where they did not punt. But maybe that was just the rookie quarterback curse we seem to have.
I
Yeah.
thought about that too, of like, new guy out there of like, it feels like a very bad defensive performance, but I don't know. I just wonder, yeah, is that just the snake bitten Bengals side of things? That went through my
Yeah,
head.
we got Mike Whited, I guess. Like that's what we talked about. Oh, let's say Mike White us. Well, we got Mike Whited. Like
Because that was my caveat of like, well,
Mike Whited squared. Like what's like we got Mike Blancoed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does, I guess, this week. Does he light other people up,
Yeah,
Was it
yeah,
just
yeah.
were we
I
just
think they got a good one in Jaden Daniels, but
yeah. Me too.
I don't know if he's that good. Like that's that he pushed a couple down the field too, put them on the money. Is like, man, and just I don't know. That was just nuts. I was jaw agape, like what the hell just happened? And
I was more like
yep. F bombs ensued from my mouth. So whatever. So now we're 0-3, moving on to the Carolina Panthers. Once again, I need to ensue my week peacefully. And so I've just been listening to Enya and not Bengals podcasts and analysts or any of that stuff. So kept up with just enough of the news to know kind of like who's hurt and whatever. But I think Hendrickson was out sick. Chase seemed like he had a shoulder thing, but I think he's good. Sounds like BJ Hill is doubtful, so probably won't play. And Rankins was ruled out. I'm not sure if there's anybody else of big note. We lost Trent Brown for the season, but I've just been counting out the weeks. Like, how long are we going to get him until he's done? Oh, week 3, that's win. So, but we need Mims out there. So
when he stepped in, he did good from what especially for someone coming in, who wasn't even supposed to be on the game plan necessarily. He did good. So I wouldn't.
think he ranked pretty well. I think he did give up a sack, but overall was pretty good. Is what I
And it's like that was his first game. So
yeah, and just thrown in at that. So he's had a week to practice with the ones. So, got the Andy Dalton, I guess. I don't know if it's a revenge game at this point. He might enjoy playing us or whatever, but I don't think he's like, his butthurt time is probably done if he was butthurt about the Bengals. So
maybe he'll never forget when we benched him on his birthday.
maybe. Bench him on his birthday. It's like, Zach Taylor, I'm going to get you for this.
I'm going to get you every time.
I'm going to beat you every time. You bench me on my birthday. Well, he looked good last week, I guess. So I don't know.
That'd be what I'd be concerned about, is that he looked good just last week, and then as we had kind of said, he's great at it's 10 a.m. in our time zone, but the 1 p.m. time slot, he's kind of elite there. When he played for us, we had other time slots.
Had moments where he was elite there, yeah, for sure.
So that would be the concern, but it's again, I hope we would beat this team.
And I think like our backfield can hold up pretty good, I would think, against him passing the ball. It's just if we cannot generate any sort of pass rush, so we can sit back there. Well, eventually somebody's going to win. It's like the advantage always goes to the offense, really, when you give them enough time. So can it generate nothing, then he'll find somebody. And then if they just run the ball down the throat and they're on these 3 and shorts all the time, then that won't bode in our favor either. But the only thing with that, though, is like that slows down their offense, so they don't score as fast. So just maybe we got to play this like score 30 plus points every week until reinforcements come for the defense. I don't know, but
That's
yeah,
how I see it.
offensively, I don't know. I think I like most of what we did. The running game seems way more efficient. Zach Moss looks good. Chase Brown seems great. I know we brought him up, averaging 7.4 yards a carry, and that's on semi-light load. But like, what's he get, like 6 or 8 carries right now?
Yep.
So you probably get him up to like a dozen carries, maybe up, maybe not 15. I don't know, but like maybe 10 to 12 carries a game, and he's going to snap one off here soon.
I always feel it coming when he grabs the ball.
It's
It feels like
close. He's going and he gets like shoelace tackled by a linebacker. So it just takes him getting past that guy and then he's gone for a big one. So that's coming. So the run game has been very good for Joe. We can ride that a little bit and open up some things, but it looks like he's back into Joe Burrow speed where it's slowed down and he's not getting to that check down so quick. And he's not quite as happy feet in the pocket like he was just game 1. Game 2, he was fine. He just had that fumble, but I think Joe's more or less back and, he was dropping dimes out there.
Yeah, it feels like every week we've seen that, he's coming off another injury and sometimes, I wonder if it's like kind of fear of re-injury, like he has to kind of test the waters and the more he gets into it, it just seems like he just needs reps. That's what it come down to. He's not himself at the start of the year. And I feel like we've seen that and we saw it again this year. It just feels like that's the way.
Maybe he needs to play like more in the preseason. So I don't know. We'll see going forward.
But I don't think he's lost him. I think he's himself. He just needs time so that he looked more like himself last week. And I think every week it feels like he becomes more and more like the way he can be.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chase was back, 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
How many yards did he have? He had that like 40-yard bomb.
That one already put him at he was already at like 50 or 60 at the start of the game because of that. So he was probably 100.
It was 100 something. I forgot what. Yeah, I forgot the total.
Yeah, it's like one of them games like you almost didn't realize how good of a game he probably had. But that was a great game. Yoshi, that was a great touchdown that he got.
I'm impressed with Yoshi. I like him.
He's been awesome this year.
He's getting
every
better.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting that touchdown production and not as many catches in game, but this one he caught like a handful and that touchdown. So pretty sure-handed guy. He had 1 catch, didn't it? Wasn't it kind of low and he just pulled that thing up and that was this game.
I don't know. I've liked what I've seen from him this year.
I tell you what, yeah, things on the offensive side of the ball are moving in the right direction. Even if it's not perfect yet, it's like we're kind of looking more on that.
It's getting better for sure. Like tight ends, the Jaceki and Eric. I like how they're using both of those guys.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of blocking with their tight ends, and didn't they do a few 2 tight end sets? One of their tight ends and using some of the short screens and I kind of like what they're doing on the offensive side, and I knew that was just a matter of time. So I think the key is just get our defense to not lose.
We got to get that defense. Yeah.
We needed to get way better, but if we can just have it be good enough to not lose the game for us.
Exactly.
Because they needed 1 stop. They couldn't get 1 stop,
Just one stop.
Yeah, to get them in the 3rd and long, and then they shit their pants, and then they get it. Like we finally get them in the situation where they can get that stop, and they just couldn't do it. So
yeah, it feels like sometimes almost like I don't know where that feels like that happens a lot where we need one side to do better and then we go into the next week and it like flip-flops. It's like
that's true.
We just had everyone.
Yeah, if we get them both in sync, you're right. So like this week, the defense, we get the defense to be maybe they're not great, they're good enough, and then the offense, like, oh, Joe threw 2 picks or something, and or just that game where they have that offensive turnover and.
Yeah, what do we need to do to get both sides on the same page at the same time? Because that's where sometimes it feels like some weeks is like one of them is just all over the place. And it's just like, what do we need to do to make everyone play the way we know they can on both sides? Because it's like sometimes it's one-sided and I don't know why.
Yep. And I think really the only game, the Chiefs game, I would put it was like equally both of them. I think they both, one play short. Really,
Yeah, so that was our most complete game, and then that one could have been anyone's game. It just didn't
Yep.
go our way that time. But that's just the other two were kind of lopsided. So I just hope for this game,
exactly
can we at least
that
for
type of
both
performance,
sides?
and then lead to the win. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess the keys to the victory, like we said, just like defense, don't shit your pants every down. Like at least if you shit your pants a couple times, at least save a couple downs where you got your diapers on and
Yeah, and offense,
stop.
keep it up.
Just do what you
Keep
do.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, because the Panthers aren't particularly scary or anything, so we just need to just not crap ourselves. You just don't play bad, then we'll probably win. That's about it.
Mhm.
For this kind of game of like, it feels like we should win again if we're the team we're supposed to be.
Yeah, on
So
paper, we're the better team, but pretty
yeah.
soon on papers, we're not gonna be the better team if we keep this up. But
Yeah, that's felt like for the past few weeks, like on paper, and it's like, well, okay, I guess maybe at this point, maybe after this week, then it's like, well, maybe never, maybe that's not the case anymore.
the season could go down the tubes if we lose this week. I mean, I still wouldn't write this team off, just seeing what we've seen over the last few years, even if we did lose, but that makes it super duper hard. So I think we got to start getting back on track. Then we got the Ravens, and that we got that defense like we had this last week. We won't be able to beat them, especially because
because Lamar is just gonna torch. He already, in my opinion, he already has our number anyway. So
yeah,
we can't. Our defense has to show up that game. Like they can't have no kind of lapses. Not that game.
Yeah, not like that, man. I mean, yeah.
He's the reason they win. Like when they beat us, it's literally him. Joe gonna keep up with him.
Well, I don't know if I fully believe that. Like the last couple of years, it feels like it's more been that defense has had our number, and Lamar's been good, but it's really been more that defense has just kind of clamped Joe down, and he's never been.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because he has some top 3 defenses. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but that team has had our number for sure, and then Lamar's done good against us. I'm not going to say he didn't have nothing to do with those attempts, but our offense been able to do what they normally do. We would have at least been able to keep up,
Yep, exactly. Yep,
but
that's true.
Like I think it was a Sunday night game. I think we played them first last year, and
I remember that one. Yeah.
Was that the one that was super duper duper close, and it was just all like
it feels like those first ones we played them, because there's the one last year where Joe got hurt, and that's sort of we lost that one, but what do you expect? So it was the other one, that one I remember being
I think
close.
they got the ball back with like a minute and a half, but like they just got to get within 80 yards, and Justin Tucker's going to kick a field goal, just so like Lamar just run it a couple times, and then they're already in freaking field goal range.
Yeah, it feels like with them, it's almost who gets the ball last, because we have money max. So it's like whoever touches the ball last feels like they end up winning those games. Comes down to the last possession almost. So, but
that's coming up. That's 2 weeks. And if we're down 0-4, we got to play them, and that's got to be our first win. I don't know, but
one thing I think is that this team, kind of like 2 parts. One is that Joe Burrow and just the team in general feels like they can make magic happen. So it's like, it almost feels like you need the impossible situation of like 0-4, we can never climb out of that, or 0-3, we can never climb out of that. And it feels like they're
like 5 teams in history have ever made the playoffs, and none of them have won the Super Bowl and all that stuff.
If there's one team I could believe that could do it, it's this one, because they have a history of like, I wish they would play better when people think they should, but there's an interesting trend of when it's not expected, we play well. And that's actually one good thing I think I've seen in some of like the media of like there's a few people picking the Panthers. Like it's not common, because as we said, on paper we should win, but if we got a few people picking the Panthers, maybe that helps us, because if the expectation isn't for us to just win,
they haven't proven it yet. It's like, I'm not picking them till they can prove they can win a game. I think the Panthers are going to like actually beat them or whatever. I can see people start to swing that other way.
And then for whatever reason, it feels like we play better when that happens, when it's like, oh, you should win. Well, you got this. It's like, I don't know why, but so that's where it's like,
at least till later in the season. Then we just start beating everybody, like when we get to
Oh.
our full potential. But like early on, yeah, some of those playing down to competition or whatever, making it harder on ourselves. Now we still would end up winning those games a lot, but it'd be like too close. Like, wow, it should have been this close against that team, but I don't know.
Yeah, so that's what I'd say is like it feels like, as you guys talked about, it feels like locker rooms there, they want to win. I feel like they're hungry. We should win. We're the
They're
better
on the verge of a
team.
breakthrough. I mean, Chase even said it's not like they're getting blown out, the door's blown off of them. It's like one play, literally one play in like
Yeah.
every game.
Even despite the poor defensive showing in Washington, I mean, it was still one score. It wasn't a blowout. It was
Yeah.
a bad defensive showing, but it wasn't
One
like a
play.
loss.
It come down to one play. Like when they had them in the 3rd and long, they had a sack, and all they needed to do was just not let them convert. There's the one play. Then they punted. Instead they converted, and I think they got a touchdown or whatever. But
Yeah.
just
So it feels like
one
since it's
play.
been a game of inches, it feels like we're close, like you said, close to a breakthrough.
Yeah, one play in the KC, like either Joe Burrow does not fumble or Gesicki on the pass before catches it for the first down that should have happened.
Yeah, even the Patriots take one fumble away.
Yeah, the Patriots, they get one stop or
one less fumble.
Yeah, we could easily be 3-0.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes, you gotta make the plays.
You gotta make that one play. You do.
So yeah. That's our game plan. The one play that could
one play that make the one play that causes us to win rather than failing to make it or making the play that causes us to lose. That's
our game plan. Do what we were doing better, and then do that. Do what you said.
One extra time.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, my peeps, this is squawking at me saying we got 6 minutes left. Not bad. I think we freaking yacked for quite a bit about this. It's really kind of boiled down. Boy, our team's kind of sucking because we're 0-3, but our offense seems pretty good, but our defense seems pretty bad. Hopefully they both play better.
But we think we're better than that.
We're better than that because we know they can be better than that. Some people are hurt and we need them back soon. Plus the Ravens suck.
Boo.
Boo. Exactly, man.
Going for Buffalo this Sunday night for sure.
Yeah, I mean they're only 1-2. So if Buffalo beats them, then we could have the same record.
Exactly. Yep.
Steelers are going to start going down.
I said I think they're fake 3-0, and in some ways I think we're fake 0-3. I mean the record's the record, but it's deceptive.
As good as your record is, but it's people know that nobody's really looking at the Steelers to be what you would call contenders. Will they make the playoffs? Maybe. Hell, they can win the division, but is it like anybody like, oh no, we're playing the Steelers, they could even win a game and but yeah.
So I think it's similar for us. I mean, people were quick to write us off because they always do.
Bengals,
so our 0-3 looks crazy, but I still think it's a deceptive 0-3 because as we just pointed out, you change one play in each game and that could very easily be 3-0.
Yeah, you take a play out like we played, like everything else in between that played good enough. Just needed to play. All right, y'all. I'm looking forward to get back to the coffee games. So again. So kind of looking forward to that and just getting it done early and just, so I can, either be pissed sooner or be happy sooner.
Yeah.
That was the tough time of waiting all the way for Monday and then
then that is like, weird. It's weird. All right, y'all. Good chatting at you as always. I'm gonna stop this thing and we'll get it posted here. But we got 4 minutes to chat still. So all right. Hoo day. Stripes Coffee out.
Hoo day.